Hi everyone. In the last session, we have learned the prepare statement and we have seen the diagram, right? So, coming to the today's session, we will see some practicals when you are working with the prepare statement. There are three steps to follow. First one is preparation, and second one is parameter setting, and third one is executing the query. So, whenever we are working with the prepare statement, these are the three steps we have to be followed. Okay, so let me write it here. The three steps to follow the prepare statement. First one is prepared statement, preparing. For the prepared statement, first one is preparing, and the second one is parameter setting, and the third one is executing the query, right? Executing the query. Here, what do we mean by preparing and parameter setting and executing the query? So preparing is nothing but we need to prepare the SQL query. Basically, you need to prepare the prepared statement object. So that what the meaning of preparing. So what I'm saying here is preparing is nothing but the preparing the prepared statement object. So parameter is nothing but we have discussed the placeholders, right? Actually, in our previous class. Okay, so let me write here. So what I am saying, preparing is nothing but a prepared statement, preparing the prepared statement object. Okay. So before setting the values, we must need to be set some parameters. So here it is a query. How we have to be write string string query is equal to insert into student values. So these are the placeholders which are nothing but we have to be defined it by question mark, right? Here spaces. So this is how we have discussed in the this is the example that we have seen in our last class. Okay, so before executing we need to be set some values into these parameters. For parameter settings we need to call the setX method. For example, if you want to set the integer values at the parameter index 1, then to call the method, what method we have to call setInt. Suppose if you like to set the string values, you need to be set the string value at the parameter index, right? And you have to be which method you have to use, set a string method. If it's a double value, then you need to be set the third parameter, then to set the double likewise we need to be called the setX method. Okay, so that is called the parameter setting. So first step is nothing but preparing, second step is parameter setting, and third step is executing the query. So what do you mean by preparing? First you create the prepare statement object, right? And second step you need to set the values to the parameters. We have to use the placeholders. Okay, for this to set the values, we have to use the placeholders. So placeholder symbol is nothing but the question mark. Okay, so we can't use any other symbol except the question mark, right? So second step is nothing but the parameter setting. So how does it work? What we will do to call the setX method, earlier getX method for the result set objects contain the getX method. Okay, so to call the setX method, how you have to be right to call setX method. Like this, we have been discussed setX methods, right? SetX methods. Suppose you would like to get the value of the first column, then what you will write? Get int of 1. This is how you will write. That is what we have discussed. Get int of 1. Right. And the second column index you are passing, then I told you you can pass the column index. Also, you can provide the column name. They are called the getX methods. Okay, but these are the setX methods to call the setX methods to set the value to the parameters. And third step is nothing but the executing the query. If the query is executing, the query is inserting the query, like inserting the query or deleting the query. Then which method we have to be called? We have to be called on that time execute update method. So we have to call, in case select query, which method we have to be called? Select query method. We have to call either execute update or select query. So to call the execute update or the execute query methods, we have to be must and should remember this. So let me write it here. Execute update method. And now I hope this where we have to be use this execute update and execute query methods, it's clear. Execute query method. So these are the two methods we have to use. So first step is to prepare the statement. So what you mean by prepare? It's nothing but creating the prepared statement object. So second step is parameter setting. So what do you means what do you call the setix method? To set the values to the parameters. And setix method values are set int, set double, set string, set data. So these kind of methods are called the setx methods. Okay, the finally and the third step is nothing but what is either like execute update or execute query method. So this is called the executing the query method. If you want to insert the update delete query, then we have to be use the execute update. Okay, execute update is for insert update or delete the query. Right. Insert. This have been we are discussing in our previous classes. Delete queries. Right. And we have to be using execute update. So it is a select query. It is just only a select query. So this is have been we are discussing, right? So this is the select query we need to use for the execute query method. Okay, so we learned these three steps. Now we will try some small program. Before that, we will try some small example. Okay, so what I will do, I'll go to the SQL Plus, and meanwhile I will try to download the SQL Oracle Developer. I'll show you the GUI mode. GUI is nothing but graphical user interface, right? So I'll show you that to go. So here let me just open to go to the Chrome, and I guess it is already installed, so no need of this one. So let me just open this SQL Plus, right? So here, what I will do in the meanwhile, I'll just create a table so for our better understanding. Okay, so username. So whatever you have given the password, you can type this. Given the admin, it is successfully login. So now what I will do is I'll create the student table. Okay, so create table student. Right. So first I will give the SID, which is nothing but number, and I'll set it as a primary key. and the second column is nothing but the S name, student name. So here work as, so length I'll give as a 20, comma, and marks. For marks, just take it as a number. How much? I'll give as 7. Right. So here I'll close, and here it is showing the table is created. Now what I will do, but here but this table doesn't have any records. So let's say I would like to insert records. If I want to insert 500 records, first 500 is very big number, so first we will start with the inserting 5 records. It means some query I am using up multiple times. If I want to run same query for multiple times, then which statement is better to use in my code? Obviously prepared statement. Okay, I think you got my point. So let's execute a simple program. Okay, I opened the Eclipse, and here, where is my, okay, so it takes some time, no problem. We have already seen in the last class JDBC 4 and JDBC 5 programs. Okay, so once it get opened, we'll see that. Okay, how to execute this program.